Hello and welcome to In Touch with Durham County. I'm Deborah Craig-Ray, General Manager of Strategic Planning and Innovation. We're here virtually to bring you knowledge and information from Durham County government. It is my pleasure to introduce our Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, Brenda Howerton. Chair Howerton, it's been a little while since you've been with us. I think it was in early 2021.
I think so. Kind of like that.
Yeah, so we've had a few things happen. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
It moves fast. It's a
It
lot,
surely
and it's
does.
always moving fast. So great
hmm
to be with you, Deborah.
Well, again, we're just delighted to have you sit with us and share some of the great work that's gone on during this time. And as I wanted to tell everybody, our entire conversation today will be dedicated with a conversation with you. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right,
ready.
all
Yes.
right. Well, first of all, for residents who are new to the area, let's share a little bit about your public service as an elected official. What led you to run for an office and what were you first elected as?
Yeah, Deborah, I was elected first as a soil and water supervisor. And I served on the Soil and Water Board for 6 years before I ran for county commissioner. And I've been on the board of county commissioners since for about 14 years now.
Mhm.
And it was my advocacy work in the community and spending time with youth, with college students, um, and the community people. The students actually challenged me as I pushed them to find their places and what would challenge them and what were their goals and what would impact them. They turned around and challenged me. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, that wasn't supposed to be happening. You know, I was the coach. And so when they did that, it's like, oh, it made me have to really go back and think, where was I headed? And um, I find that what I was doing was good, but I needed to demonstrate more of my commitment to the community and to stretch myself out of my own comfort zone. And
Mhm.
it was pretty challenging. Yeah.
Well, a great deal has taken place since you joined this board in 2008. In 2017, you were elected to lead the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, literally all 100 counties. Talk about that experience.
Yes, Deborah, I served as the president of the North Carolina Association of Counties, and the association advocates for it's the, before the executive branch, the legislative, the judicial branches of government. My tenure as president focused on helping all children thrive, all 100 counties. It was
hmm
an exciting year, it was a busy year, and I am so blessed to have had the opportunity to represent Durham and counties across the state of North Carolina.
And certainly, we are very grateful for your initiative that helped to lift and educate our young children, and you continue to do that. Now, I noticed when we attend some state and national meetings of county officials, you have made connections with officials all across the country. They always ask for and look for you. How's that happen?
You know, Deborah, the serving as a president and that my initiative about was really about the quality of our children, whether it was education, whether it was food insecurity, whether it was parents having sufficient housing and income, jobs that supported them. All of that came into play. And having connections across the state, really collaborating with county commissioners across the state, across the nation,
hmm
really helps us to look at what is it that we can continue to do? You know, Durham does some great things. Durham is wonderful, but there are always new, innovative things that somebody else may be doing. We can provide some of the things that we're doing and show up across the country, but we can also learn new and innovative ways. I can't tell you how many things that we have learned about at the conference and come back to Durham and implement them the Durham's way. You know, we don't, it's not always exactly what we've learned, but we put Durham's stamp on it.
Certainly, that interaction with others is important.
Yeah.
Now, as part of your leadership experience, you've been very visible with the National Association of Counties, or what we call NACO. You've served on various committees, health and large urban counties, economic development, and others. And then this summer, you were appointed to the board of directors. How did you feel when you learned that President Denise Winfrey appointed you to that board?
Deborah, it's certainly an honor to be appointed to the NACO Board of Directors, to have been selected. I am humbled to be able to represent Durham across the nation, and ready to serve this coming year. You know, the responsibilities of being on the NACO board are to be an advocate for the NACO legislative agenda and its programs. Those policies and issues are then presented to Congress.
Hmm.
Um, Board members serve on standing committees, and I am really, really excited that Durham's issues will be at the table, because if I'm at the table, Durham's issues are at the table.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, I'll rely on you a lot and our staff to help to craft agendas and policies so that they can be presented to our national board of directors.
Very good. Now, I think you're going to have your first NACO board meeting a little later this fall. What are you expecting?
I'm I'm expecting to see a lot of people and learn a lot about how things work, and that coming together and rolling up our sleeves and getting to work. That's what I expect.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, I know our NACO president, Denise Winfrey, outlined her presidential priority, RISE. It means resiliency, inclusion, solvency, and empowerment. In other words, helping county to rise. And so that's certainly what you have done and you will continue to do as you work on these critical issues of importance.
Yes, absolutely. You know, the resilience, inclusion, solvency, empowerment. And when we think about our families, when we think about our community, those are exactly the things that we work toward from county government to ensure that that's impacting the lives of our families and impacting the lives of our children. And when she talked about resilience, you know, trauma is one of the things that we talk a lot about, and being able to have resilience through trauma is so important, that we are able to have our little ones in schools, that they are resilient. So these rise and all of the things that will be happening across the nation, commissioners are going to just be really digging down and working and making these things happen.
That's fantastic. So many great programs and
Mhm.
ideas taking place for our residents. And as you said earlier, what we're doing in Durham, you're now getting a chance to also share that on a larger stage with NACO. So again, we're just excited to have you there.
Yeah, thank you. I am really, it is really, I'm really humbled that of all the people across the nation, there are, I don't even know the number of commissioners there are. But to have been selected, it speaks volume for Durham. And I represent Durham, so I am very, very humble to be able to be at the table to do that. Yes.
Very good, very good. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll talk more with our chair, Brenda Howerton, chair of the Board of County Commissioners. Stay with us.
My name is Jenna Bajwa, and I'm a paramedic with Durham County EMS. Our ambulances respond to calls from non-emergencies to advanced life support calls. The variety keeps me on my toes, and there are so many things you just don't see in other counties. The police and fire departments are integral to the overall EMS system. This partnership is vital to the success of all of our calls. I'm from Durham. I moved away for a little bit, and now with my job, I feel like I'm at home. It's who I am. I like how it's not all emergencies, it's patient care, it's public service, it's taking care of the truck, it's always being ready, it's face-to-face contact. Patient care is public service, and that's important to me. We get so much experience handling such a wide variety of situations that 2 years in Durham might equal 10 years somewhere else. Durham EMS is the right place for me. I can't imagine being anywhere else.
The heart of Durham? We keep it beating.
Welcome back. We are enjoying a wonderful and informative conversation with Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, Brenda Howerton. Chair Howerton, one thing that seems to surprise many people is the fact that they understand that Durham County's Board of Commissioners is made up of all women. You lead an historic Board of Commissioners. How's that been?
Exciting, Deborah. And I know when we say all across the country, when we inform people that we are an all-female board, they look at us and go, really? Yes, we are. And, Deborah, we all work really, really hard because we all have a heart for the people, heart for the work that we do. And we're all committed to making a difference in the lives of people. So as a 5-women board, we just drill down and get the work done. Human services is our core, is where our core is. It's about getting things done to take care of our families and our grandmamas and making sure that people have jobs so that they can live quality lives.
Very important. And as you said, you all bring your perspectives, but it's the human perspective, and you each serve on the residents' behalf, and we're very grateful.
And it's very, very seldom that we don't all vote together. Very seldom that you will see us not vote together, because by the time we get ready to vote, we've had discussions about these issues and we've attempted to get on the same page. I mean, there may be sometimes that we don't, but overall we do.
Absolutely. Well, I know just recently you all attended, many of you, the state meeting of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. And how was that conference? What were some of the highlights of that conference?
Well, the conference was held in Concord, and there's so many great speakers. There were so many great conversations and training. And hell, you can't get to them all. Some of the ones that I attended was about the national opioid settlement and update, and talking about how the strategies about how we're going to manage that. Focuses around seminars around MAT, which is our legal medical security programs. There were conversations around our young people, around our youth, and interacting with youth as far as being in leadership. There were conversations around that. So it was a lot of thoughtful conversations, and some of the major things that happen at these conferences, again, is building relationships and hearing what others are doing around affordable housing, around our prenatal to 3, around our pre-K. So sitting down, having a conversation with another commissioner really is important to be able to do that at these conferences.
Yeah, and again, it's a great opportunity, and we always bring back information for Durham.
Yes, I mean, I haven't even had an opportunity yet because we got back. I came back on Saturday and went had another event to go right directly to, and just going through all my material, and just haven't gotten around to it yet. It'll take time to just kind of go through all that material and analyze what is it that you want to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we will see where we land with all of that.
Yeah.
So, one of the other issues I wanted to mention for our viewers is that your board had the opportunity of hiring a new county manager, and you selected Dr. Kimberly Sowell, who we've had on this show before. She came on board just as the budget process began, and so now she's been with us about 6 months. How are things going?
You know, Dr. Sowell has joined us as the county manager in March of this year, and you know, she's really doing a great job. She came in just before the budget and started that process brand new, and it was great to get her in before the budget got far in advance so she could get on board with what was happening. It's been good to have her as part of our team. She jumps in. She went to the national conference with us in Colorado. She was at the Association of Counties conference last week. I mean, she's really jumping in and doing managers training. She's doing the things that needs to be done to really keep us a high performing county. And we're
Excellent.
very pleased.
Excellent, excellent. Well, speaking of the budget, let's talk about the budget a little bit. Your board approved the budget unanimously. It was nearly $794 million. And of course, without a property tax rate increase, which is always good news. That's a
Yes.
great accomplishment. Let's talk about a few of the priorities that were reflected in this budget. Let's maybe go with education because that's always a priority for your board.
Well, yeah, education is always one of our priorities. I mean, education is anywhere from 39 to 40% of our budget. Um, we Durham Tech and pre-K. So Durham Tech, for example, 177 million. No, this is DPS. DPS. I'm looking at the numbers here. 177 million. 150, 100, 627 dollars for DPS. Pre-K, we did 6.4 million. And then Durham Tech, 9,743,434
Mm-hmm.
So we with education, and these are things that we did with DPS and Durham Tech. But then we fund other uh, educational initiatives that are outside of DPS. So this is not all that we put into education.
Right, right. And I recall another priority was to do an increase in support for maternal health. And why was that so important? Why did that register with your board?
Well, mental health nurses, lactation specialists, maternal health nurses, and operating expenses. These are things that are important to our community. We've heard over and over again how Black maternal health, there's such a deficiency in that area. And the community came to us and highlighted those areas. And we have people in our health department that's already conscious of those areas as well and been working on it. We just needed to invest more resources in that area, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're making that one of our priorities in this budget.
Very good, very good. And then, of course, the employees registered with the board. Salary increases for our county employees who've really gone to the bat over these last few years with COVID. Why was this area so important to enhance the salaries for county employees?
Whatever, our employees have just gone beyond measure in the last couple of years, and during COVID, the things that they had to endure. So the commissioners believe that it was critical to compensate county staff who have worked during the pandemic to keep the rest of the community safe. It's also important to continue to keep and attract the best workers for our county to serve the public. In addition, our budget included $6.82 million of our American Rescue Plan Act funding to support the county's Economic Recovery Act efforts and our public health response around the pandemic. But the major thing was to make sure that the employees knew that this board cares about them, and by supporting them to ensure that their salaries and that we compensate them. And money's not everything, but it sure helps with this economy.
Absolutely. And indeed, our employees are grateful. So if you want, let's look ahead for a few things for the next few months. So one of the things your board has done is voted to place a bond referendum on the November ballot. Generally, it's an education bond and the largest bond we've done. Can you talk about why that's important?
Well, Deb, I believe that it's important, and this board believe that it's important. Durham is growing by leaps and bounds, and there are more and more people moving to Durham, and we need more schools. We need more technical community college. We need more education programs there, more training programs. The Museum of Life and Science is growing. So we have to prepare for the future to ensure that our community is ready to embrace the people that's coming here, because they're coming.
Oh, yeah.
And we may as well get prepared for it.
Yep. So there are just three questions this time. It's about Durham Public Schools, Durham Tech, and the Museum of Life and Science. And so the election is in November, and then, of course,
Yep.
early voting will be in late October.
Yeah. So everyone gets an opportunity to weigh in because they get to vote.
Right. And I'll just note that the details of the bonds can be found on our Durham County website. Now, Durham County is also working to approve some new projects that'll be funded by American Rescue Plan money. Durham County received $62 million. So how is that process going?
We know that the community probably thinks it's going really, really slow. But you can go fast and get in trouble, or you can go slow and make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some people in our county that making sure that that's happened, and making sure to ensure that the monies are spent in a way that they really support the community. We are thankful for the input from the community. There are systems being put into place to make sure that the money is being spent on the right programs and in the right service area. And there have been meetings where citizens were able to come to and really take part in and see how it's going to be rolled out. So we're looking forward to seeing the first applications come in. I know that there are going to be some RFPs, and so feels slow, and it is, but we're going to be very effective when we give the money out.
Oh, yes, and it's very important, as you said, because, the U.S. Treasury has set some guidelines that local governments must follow, and if we don't do that correctly, we will have to pay the money back. So we want to make sure we've got the checks and balances in place.
Well, I heard at the conference there were some counties, Deborah, that spent their money quickly and they had to retract because they had spent it before the U.S. Treasury had given all the rules and guidelines. So they had to retract, take some of the money back, and redirect it. So I'm thankful for the staff that we didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity to be very thoughtful in what we present to you, because at the end of the day, your board will have to approve all of the projects, but we want to make sure we're presenting them in the right way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, is there anything that we didn't touch on in our conversation that you want to lift up?
There are so many things that we do, Deborah, that the community don't get to see that, and that some of it they don't want to see. But our commitment is always to lift up our community, do the things that we feel that, and with data-driven evidence to do what we need to do for the community. And that could be in any area of government. I have a commitment to work closely with our mayor, that we work on things that we can do together. Crime is very, very happening. It's happening in our community. And the city is taking some action. The county is doing things that help to support those initiatives that the city is doing, like Bull City United, that we work together as much as we can for the betterment of our citizens. So we just ask our citizens to know that this is not always about the county or always about the city. It's about us working together to do what we can, and knowing that there are certain guidelines that the county has to abide by, and then there are certain guidelines for the city. But we will work together wherever we can.
That's outstanding. Well, we've certainly enjoyed our conversation. It's been fun. We just thank you so much for your dynamic leadership and for all you do for Durham County on our behalf.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed my years as a county commissioner and continue to enjoy it. I say this is my ministry. And I just want to thank Durham for giving me the opportunity to serve. It's been wonderful. And we got a lot more work to do.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up our show. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time on In Touch with Durham County. Cheers.